Britain's most famous chimes, broadcast to the country live twice a day, every day, as well as 3 times on Sundays.
This is the other side of the clock.
The bells and the clock itself have mattered hugely to generations of people over the years. The bongs are one of the most recognised sounds around the world.
Big Ben has been broadcast now because it has become a symbol of freedom. So the people who were hearing it during the Second World War realised that there was one country which was still free. Thereafter, it was part of the meaning of the symbol of freedom.
It's a seamless operation, getting the bongs transmitted from here to the homes of radio listeners. But it hasn't always been this easy. Big Ben's bongs were first broadcast on New Year's Eve in 1923. BBC engineers were not allowed in the building. Instead, they had to climb onto a rooftop opposite the Houses of Parliament with a microphone to capture the sounds of the chimes. From February 1924, the bells were regularly transmitted on the radio.
And the tradition has run ever since then, with the chimes of this great bell, Big Ben, also being heard on special occasions such as Christmas Day, Armistice Day and New Year's Eve. But there have been some notable exceptions.
During the Second World War, unbeknown to the public, the bongs were at times replaced by recorded ones for security reasons. In 2017, the chimes on Radio 4 were silenced again, with a recording used instead. That was due to major restoration work taking place on the Elizabeth Tower, which houses the clock and bells.
It was important in order that we could restore the building for future generations. There was stonework crumbling, also the great clock hadn't had a major overhaul in over 30 years at that point. We also upgraded the infrastructure, so new lighting that you can see now, but also our fire systems, our security systems, and we also put heating in to preserve the fabric for the very first time.
The tower has now been restored to its former glory. New microphones have been installed, which means the live bongs have returned, with extra microphones being brought in on New Year's Eve. And this is the mechanism that keeps it all ticking.
So what we have here is what's called a flatbed mechanism. It's a 3-train clock, so it's got 3 separate components, one to do the chimes, one to do the time, and one to strike Big Ben. It's powered by 3 weights with a combined weight of 2¼ tons, which travel down the centre of the tower. There's an 85-metre shaft that goes right down the middle of the tower. 3 times a week, we come up to the mechanism room to wind the clock weights back up to the top.
And New Year's Eve is coming up. What preparations are going into that?
We will be here on the day, making sure that the clock is running precisely to time. We'll be taking time checks throughout the day and making small adjustments to the pendulum just to make sure that midnight happens exactly when everyone is expecting it to.
The iconic bells will be broadcast around the world again at midnight, with the sound of 12 chimes signalling the start of the new year. Noor Nanji, BBC News.